All right, everybody. You'll have an image here in a minute. You have audio. We're getting up and going. Going to do a live episode here. Just dialing everything in. We know you're probably, at least Mark Arnold is in the chat. And so about now, you should have audio and video. And I'm sending them a message. Let us know if you can hear and see us okay. And see if Mark Arnold there in the chat. Looks and sounds good, says Mark Arnold. Rock on. Thank you very much. With that said, this is a live patron-only event. And if you're getting in this in the back end, you will get it in the back end of your patron accounts. Even if you didn't see it live, you'll have access to it. And so you'll see it raw like this of us getting up and going, unedited version. But this is a patron-only event. And let's do this thing. Big Daddy.
Yes.
You want to know how to have a fresh smelling and squeaky clean butt before riding? Well, I'm going to tell you how.
Not even going to let you answer.
That's how I roll. Get hooked up with Dude Wipes flushable wet wipes. Oh, yeah. Your butt will smell like a breath of fresh air. Support us and head over to lawabidingbiker.com/fresh-butt. No additional cost to you, Bikeaholics, but we do get a small commission if you click through and make a purchase. And just to let you know, like we do here on this podcast, we don't only test motorcycles. We test a lot of different biker things because bikers got a lot of needs, and Fresh Butt is one of them. And so we've been testing. We've done this on a couple podcasts. Now, I'll get your input on this, Lurch. Okay. Big Daddy is just sitting down off the back of a fresh dump. And that's not a joke. He just took a fresh dump right before we went live. And he was forced to use wet wipes to give his evaluation. Now, Lurch and I were into the mint, and we really like the mint. It smells like it's like a breath mint for your ass, really. And we're really liking the mint. and and this is serious. We actually have a link for this, guys. I'm not kidding. All right. So we had to break in today. Lurch has had a really rough week.
Yeah. My stomach's been a mess this week.
Which is perfect. Yeah. I might have put something in your food just because I was
wondering what was going on.
Do some extra testing on the wet wipes.
It's all your fault.
So we broke free from the mints, and we're trying fragrance free.
Right.
So I will just ask you your evaluation now that you've had the opportunity. I used the fragrance free this morning, so I'm curious, and then we'll ask Big Daddy what he thought, because he got a hold of the mint just a bit ago.
It was a little underwhelming. The fragrance free. It just kind of, I was missing something, just a little something. You know what it was? It was that mint scent. I didn't have a breath mint for my butt.
Right.
It was a good wipe. It's a clean wipe, and it's got all the stuff you need, but it doesn't leave you with that tingly feeling from the mint.
Right. It doesn't.
I just didn't feel as clean and as fresh.
No, you feel fresh.
Yeah, I didn't feel as fresh using the fragrance free.
Okay. I will say I'm the same. I'm kind of partial to the mint so far. Big Daddy, how was the mint for you?
Well, since I've been on a diet, I haven't been pooping much.
No, it's good to know about your poop schedule.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you for the extra info.
So I was actually kind of thrilled that I had to take a dump.
Uh-huh.
And so I took the dump.
You looked happy going in.
Yeah, and I was like, this is stupid putting a wipe on my butt. I could just use normal toilet paper, because you always have like the good toilet paper.
Not that cheap shit, huh?
So... yeah, at the schools, they have the cheap stuff.
I got expensive toilet paper here.
And so I did try it, and it smelled nice. I didn't feel any difference using it.
Really?
After I first did the wipe.
Right.
I thought it was going to be cool mint wiping.
Right.
But it wasn't.
Like an explosion of mint in your ass.
I thought it was going to be like an Arctic wind blew right up my cornholio.
Right.
But no, it wasn't that. But then after a couple minutes, I felt like, like maybe like some mint powder kind of just was just reminiscent there. And
you got the delayed response.
Yes, and it was just nice and cool.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
That's the controlled release.
It was definitely, it was kind of like when they have those pain relievers where they advertise
slow
you
release.
see it going in the water and you see those little granules of yes, it was a timed release for me.
Yep.
Okay.
Very nice.
But times are hard right now. So hopefully this is an affordable product because, times are hard right now.
Damn right it is.
It is. I ordered I had to laugh when I first saw that he had ordered some. It's pretty good packaging. I mean, dude wipes, it sounds good and all that. But I used one and went, holy shit, I need these in my life. So I got on Amazon and ordered some for myself. You can get 6 packages of 48 wipes for $17. Mm-hmm. And they also have a box of individuals, a 30-pack of these little individuals.
Discreet, kind of like a tampon.
Discreet. Yeah, you could have this in your pocket. Sneak off to the Starbucks bathroom and nobody knows that you got
about the size of a condom package.
Wipe. Yeah.
I haven't seen one of those since high school.
When I was younger, I used to keep condoms in my pocket. Now I keep butt wipes.
Yep. That's a sure sign of getting
old.
Your
condom packages weren't this big because that's
true.
This is definitely an extra magnum.
That is the extra magnum.
The ones I had were
with the extra reservoir tip,
like half the size of
for the big load. LawabidingbikeR.com/fresh-butt.
Let's move on.
What do we got?
I can't believe this is what you guys have come up with this week is dude wipes.
That's how we roll, bro. That's how we roll. All right, let's do this. A funny YouTube comment we got here. So do you want to read this, Lurch? You give context to this?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's imagine a conversation between Harley Davidson and Ryan. And so in quotes, Harley Davidson saying, "We have raised the rear suspension, which improves lean angle, giving more cornering clearance." And they're referencing the Street Glide ST. And Ryan in quotation says, "Hold my beer, watch this." And then the commenter said, "Dude, was there anything left of those floorboards when you were done?" Mm-hmm. And no, there was not much left.
No, they were sharpened. They were heavily sharpened. And if you guys want to see that video, it's getting a ton of views. And that's the Street Glide ST review. It's out on the YouTube channel, lawabidingbiker.com/Ryan Erlacher is how you get there. Just search up the YouTube channel, Law Abiding Biker. But that review is out and it is on the ST. And I did some serious floorboard sharpening. Oh, yeah. Here's the deal, Big Daddy. You're sitting there on your couch in your underwear, getting ready. You're like, I'm going on a motorcycle trip next week. You're shopping the Law Abiding Biker store. You may have one hand just tucked in your chonies, sitting there saying, oh, Law Abiding Biker store, I need that in my life. I need that product in my life. But you're like, you check your jeans. You're like, I got no coin. Well, it's no big deal, Big Daddy. You know why?
Why?
Because we got shop, pay, installments integrated right into the Law Abiding Biker store where you can make 4 equal payments interest-free. And we just added monthly payments, but that comes with an interest rate. But you can now do monthly payments. A lot of people using that in the store there, Big Daddy.
You know what they call that, Lurch?
What's that?
The American Dream. Magic. It is integrated in the store, guys, just for you. Want to ride longer? Are you tired of a sore and achy ass? Then fix it with a high-quality butt buffer seat cushion. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our lineup of butt buffer seat cushions. We got us a voicemail that we should listen to. I don't know what it's about. Let's check it out.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Michael calling from Lacey, Washington, over here on the other side of the mountains from you. Just wanted to call in and say thank you. Been enjoying the podcast, been catching up on the back catalog in between new episodes, and just recently listened to the episode about Ron and his C2C for PTSD ride. He actually got to Tacoma the day I left on a 22 National Park ride to raise money for veteran suicide prevention as well. Him and I actually talked about possibly crossing paths, but we found out our routes were a little bit different. It wasn't going to work out. I'm actually still in touch with him and seeing what we can do because we're both on the same mission there. So I just want to call in and say thanks for having him on and bringing attention to that cause. It hits close to home for me. I know it hits close to home for you guys as Leos. So keep up the great work, enjoying the podcast, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Well said, Michael Nielsen of Lacey, Washington. Thank you for taking the time and leaving us a voicemail. What a great cause. Yes, that runs in law enforcement as well as military. So we appreciate that cause very, very much. He left us a voicemail easily over at lawabidingbiker.com/contact, where you can leave a voicemail right from your phone or any computer with a built-in microphone for free from anywhere in the world. We love to hear your lovely voices and get you on the podcast. So thanks again for taking the time. Oh yeah, once you use Rick Rack, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with a Rick Rack quick attach luggage system and quality bag. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Hey, Bikeaholic, Zero 3D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike. Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. Zero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of Zero 3D products. Let's do this thing. Talking about the store, we got Big Daddy in here, of course. Lurch, taking up a mic. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the
99%.
Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. By being here, by listening, you're part of what we call the hashtag
Biker Revolution.
Oh, yeah. We do have just one question for you before we get started. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics?
Mount up and let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
Oh, yeah. Here we are, guys. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast, and your
high-tech redneck.
There you go. He's back in.
I'm a little rusty girl. I know I've been gone, but I'm here, and it's going to get really long.
Nicely done. On the spur of the moment. Big Daddy in the house. Thanks for being here. We've had a big day, and we'll get to some more of that here in a moment. And then, of course, the man, the myth, the legend. Wow. Lurch in the house. So we've got a great episode for you guys. Our main topic is Big Daddy, who's right here. Of course, the store operations manager for Law Abiding Biker Media. Main topic, Big Daddy gets a new BMW GS850. We did a project on it today. We're going to talk about that and what he's done to it, why he got it. We're going to talk some adventure stuff today, but there's going to be a lot of Harley stuff and, or I should say, American-made V-twin stuff mixed in here because hopefully we'll get to talking about store stuff. And we're also, let's just kick it off with talking about Brad Johnston. Why don't you give that a little talking to there, Lurch, about him coming up and his current predicament and why he came up and why we have his bike and all that.
So patron member Brad Johnston was the winner of the Empire collection from Harley Davidson.
Patron member only raffle. You got to be a patron member. We're doing raffles in there.
Yeah, buddy. And they had sent us a whole set of the, what do they call it, laser cut. So it's black, but it also is laser cut. So it has some of the raw metal that shines through, a combination of black and silver, if you will. We've got heated grips. We've got all the floor boards and pegs and covers and all kinds of stuff we're going to put on his bike. So we worked with him to get his bike up here. He rode up here this morning and got here late morning to around noonish, somewhere around there.
Quite the ride, we should add.
Yeah, he came up from Redmond, Oregon. So what are we talking there? About 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours, right up here. And he brought his, I believe it's a 17 Road Glide Special. We're going to put all that stuff on there. But he asked if he could borrow one of the law-abiding biker bar hoppers. And so we hooked him up with the 2007 Night Train, which we just serviced the other day in the lab studio, and had to put a battery in it because the battery tender terminal was broken. We didn't know it. So it sat there for quite a while with the tender attached to it. It wasn't doing shit. So we threw a new battery, new oil, got all ready for him to go. And it was a beautiful morning up here in Yakima, Washington. And we were inside the studio. He hung out with us for a while.
While we were filming a project, yeah.
We were putting some crash bars on Big Daddy's new bike. And you can't, in the studio, it's dark. We don't have windows that you can really see out of. And so we opened the door to start moving some bikes around. We realized it had rained quite a bit. And so we thought we were through the worst of it, but Brad took off around, I would say, about 2 o'clock or so, 1:30-ish. and he ran right into the eye of the hurricane.
Yep.
Had to pull over because he's on that night train which doesn't have a fairing, a windshield, nothing.
Yep. Going old school.
Yeah.
And I told him we were filming, and I said, dude, you're headed right for the eye of the storm. It looked nasty down there. Let's give Brad Johnson a call here because he's got his Santa hooked up to his phone.
We might be able to
think.
get him.
Rising up.
Let's see.
Cold call, Brad Johnson.
Street.
Let's hope it all works. He's down that Goldendale area, so hopefully
they get struck by lightning.
This is Brad.
Hey, Brad, you're on the podcast. We're doing a live podcast, but we're just checking on you to make sure you're alive and you've not been struck by lightning.
I am alive and fantastic, actually.
Nice.
Got my heated gear on, drying out. Life is good.
Good. You hit a pretty, from your text message, it sounded like you hit the eye of the storm.
Oh, dude. Everywhere around me, it was like every 10 seconds there was a lightning strike. It was crazy.
Holy cow. How was riding that? How's the old night train treating you with no windshield, no fairing, and ape hangers?
You know, you kind of forget just how luxurious a touring bike is. And there's a lot of bike in a touring bike. There's not a lot of bike in a night train.
That's very true, especially when you're riding through the eye of the storm. But
dude, big raindrops. Big raindrops.
Glad you're... sounds like you're through the worst part of it, but I travel safe. Thanks for taking the call.
Well, thanks for the bike. Too.
Have fun with it. It makes you feel young again. Makes you feel young again till you get off it.
You know, we're young and a little reckless, but then, when I get off it, my ass is going to hurt even with the butt buffer.
Yeah, no doubt.
The seat's just a little bit short. It's got the butt buffer's not doing anything on that tailbone.
Yep. All right, brother. Thanks for taking the call. Ride safe.
Enjoy. All
right.
Yeah.
Bye, Brad.
Bye.
All right.
That must have been that monsoon that Justin was talking about. Oscar was here just a little bit ago picking up some parts before the podcast, and he said that it just poured through the Moxie area. So I'm sure that's the same thunderstorm that went through.
Yep.
Bad timing.
Bad timing. We couldn't have timed that any worse. But I'm glad he's alive and not struck by lightning. Now, speaking of the Empire Collection, that Harley, shout out Harley for sending that over for free and sent us all those parts. And of course, we raffled them off. We want to give back to our members. Love it so much. We got a bunch of members in the chat here, do we? Yep. Russell Robertson there, Mark Arnold, Chris Lezak. Good guys. Thanks for being in there. Thanks for tuning in here on this live patron member only live video broadcast and chat. Now, I will say that you want to pay attention this week because we're doing a whole bunch of stuff. We got a lot of projects coming up this week, Lurch and I, and to include, we're going to install all those parts on Brad Johnston's Road Glide that he left here. And if you haven't noticed yet, we're really bumping up Instagram. We're doing a lot of stuff over on Instagram that you won't see anywhere else. And so you need to get over there and give us a follow at Scrappy587. That's SCRAPPY 587. Again, at Scrappy587 over on Instagram. We're doing a lot of reels and stories and behind the scenes type of stuff. And we will be doing that this week with Brad's bike, along with doing some regular filming of it. Of course, Facebook, public, law-abiding biker. Then you've got the YouTube channel, Ryan, or youtube.com/Ryan Urlacher. And the Twitter is at law-abiding biker. All the links can be found on the website if you forget them, but pretty standard. Get over there and give a follow on all those platforms because we're putting a lot of stuff out lately. Do you want to talk about the whose new article is this? Did you give one a big... Oh, you give Brad's, all right.
Absolutely. I thought we'd be talking about Brad today, so I threw that one in there.
When he comes back, I told him he's going to give extra time. We're going to do a podcast with Brad.
Oh, outstanding. So yeah, so this is a free article, and it's called The Surprising Motorcycle Progressive Jacket I Chose. And he went through some different jackets, trying to figure out what he wanted to get, and he ended up with the Harley Davidson, is it Ridgeway? You'd have, maybe
pull up the article.
Maybe if you open up the article there. But it's a good article, well written. In fact, he was wearing it today. So, yeah, Ridgeway. There you go.
Ridgeway. Did you find it?
I did. I saw it as you're scrolling through. Nice jacket.
So there you go. Brad's writing articles here. Big Daddy writes some articles too. So make sure you're checking out the blog at lawabidingbiker.com. All right. So Big Daddy Kane.
Chris Lezak says, good to see BDK back in the studio.
There you go. It is nice to have Big Daddy back in the studio.
D Barnes,
even though he took a big dump in the lab toilet, but
it wasn't that big.
No, it sounded big. It sounded like a war zone in there.
There's a lot of grunting and stuff coming out of there.
Sounded like you were giving birth.
I think the audience can see through your guys' lives.
Lurch,
whatever.
I think you're gonna have to lower your screen a little bit because I'm trying to get full focus on you.
Lower it?
Yeah.
I can pull it closer.
Or pull it closer. That's fine. There you go. All right. So Big Daddy recently got a new BMW GS850. It was on the lift today, and adventure bike. Now, Lurch, you guys know because we've done a podcast on it and we've done a YouTube video on it. Lurch, I've got a KLR 650. Lurch got hooked up with a 2022 KLR 650 base model. And of course, Oscar has got the KLR 650. I believe this is a 17. Mine's an 18. So Lurch has got the newest one, but Big Daddy decided to go with the BMW GS850. So we're going to talk about that because we love our street riding, of course, here on the podcast, but we also love to off-road adventure ride. Big Daddy Kane, take it away.
Well, it's kind of interesting. We're doing the podcast actually before the article comes out because the article I wrote talked about my history of being involved with motorcycling, how that evolved from being a kid originally. From Odyssey to three-wheeler to dirt bike to street bike, and then full transformation back. So when that article comes out, I think some of this will kind of tie back in together because a lot of times when you're writing, you can get a lot of details in specifics because you're taking time to do it. So I think people will enjoy that. So I've dabbled in this. I think I was the first with the KTM 550 EXC to start experimenting with this. Me and Justin had been talking about it for a while. You were talking about it as well, but you were still undecided on what direction you were going to go because you were thinking, I want touring plus I want off-road. So I started with the KTM 550 EXC, which was more, even though it was street legal, it was more dirt than it was street. And then I transitioned to a GS 1200, and we had some good times with that together. We went out to the slab and stuff, but that bike always kind of bothered me a little bit. It had a little too much vibration for what I liked. I didn't like the fact that it didn't have cruise control, and it was a very heavy bike. And so after I sold that bike, I was content with just doing street stuff. But I kind of got re-inspired when Matt retired and Matt got the KLR. I started looking again at possibly getting a KLR as well. But after a lot of discussion and kind of research, I determined that the bike that I was going to go with was the GS850, mainly because of the weight reduction compared to 1200. The power plant is the 850 is a very tried and true inline power plant that over the 750 has the hotter cam, the bigger intake, 90 horsepower. It's reasonable as far as the size. And plus, the big thing for me is that you guys are all starting at a base camp in Yakima. And one of the things that Justin reminded me of several times was that I'm going to be transporting from the Tri-Cities to here. So I have to consider what is going to be comfortable in that 75, 80 miles one way and then back the other way as this goes. So I started to look for something that was going to be road, but then could also be available for the Forest Service roads. And that was one of the big discussions was if you guys are doing roads that are going to be a little more aggressive off-road, can the bike do it? Yes, but this isn't necessarily always going to be comfortable for that. Not just because, the bike can handle it, but also the fuel range on the bike because it's got a 4-gallon tank versus a 6-gallon. But he said, you got to consider that you're you're riding 150 to 160 miles that we're not. And so you need that cruise control. You might need those heated grips. So those were some things that were in consideration. So obviously after that, then it was looking at fitting it out. Like how can we fit this out to make it work for somebody who's 6'3"? And then of course, I'm a bigger guy. Obviously I'm losing weight, but this bike is more than big enough, even for a guy my size. So these were all kind of in the considerations as far as how that goes.
Well, it's a good looking bike. And I guess one of the questions I'm sure that the audience has is how come you didn't go with the Pan America?
Well, first of all, the Pan America is more expensive, and there's not a lot of
good point.
There's not a lot of used bikes out there. This bike was a 2019 with 377 miles on it.
That's crazy,
dude. That's like my KLR at 100 and barely over like 109 miles.
Yeah, this bike came out of Arizona. It was obviously whoever bought it knew. To me, set it up for street touring because they had changed out the 9010s for Bridgestone tires. They had put a GPS unit on it, so it had the BMW Motorrad GPS on the risers already. They went with panniers that were the quick, easy takeoffs that you could take into your hotel room or whatever. So it was obviously set up for street stuff. So it gave the quick basic platform for what I needed. The 750 is set up more for street. 850 has a little bit more power and allows you to have a little bit more of that off-road. And then, of course, they have the whole adventure series, which is already outfitted with some of the stuff that I've been adding on myself. So it kind of went that way. I mean, but the Pan America, I did a lot of research. Believe it or not, a lot of the best videos that you find are coming out of Europe on that they're coming out with comparisons between the KTM and the Harley and the BMWs. And one of the things that they'll tell you is that the Harley is a really great machine, but it sits about, the bottom plate sits about an inch lower than the BMW. And the synopsis really is that the KTM is
which is interesting because you're just riding Forest Service roads mostly with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But in Europe, these guys are doing like some crazy stuff, right? So they'll tell you straight out that the KTM is the best for off-road. BMW is the middle of the road. And if you're doing mostly streets, the Pan America's there. What the big deal for me was, and me and Justin had this conversation, if I could have one bike, it'd be the Pan America. But then the other deciding factor is you can't hardly get the accessories for the Pan America right now.
I know, supply chain.
You can't even get the panniers. And then, of course, Harley, in true fashion, they've locked up their distributors for them. Southwest Motec is making their stuff. So if you go to Southwest Motec's site, you can't buy anything for the Harley. Mm-hmm. So now you see some of these other companies that are starting to develop and come out with stuff for that. So why would I spend for a 2021 demo bike the brand new price of $21,000 and you can't even have the panniers for it? And even at that, it's still a heavier bike. I mean, this 850 is the perfect size. This is the bike that typically you use for this type of stuff. Can the 1250 do it? Absolutely. But this bike is specifically set up for that. It's the lighter bike. It's got more than enough power. I mean, it's amazing, and it is smooth as silk as far as the ride and stuff. And there's plenty of accessories out there because it's been out for a while. Mm-hmm. This run, 19 and older, is now in 20. They went to a new, so now the accessories 20 and up are a little bit different, but you can pretty much find anything that you need for it. It's just the supply chain stuff that you find you can't. You may want something and it's been developed, but you just can't get it. So for me, the Pan America, that's why that was not in the play.
Yeah.
If it was a demo bike and it was $17,000 or $16,000, but I called 3 different dealerships that all had demo bikes and they still wanted MSRP for them. I'm not going to pay MSRP for a bike and then I can't even outfit it because they can't even get the accessories.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Good answer. So Lurch, Russell Roberts in the chat here saying, you guys working on Brad's bike Wednesday? I'm going through there without a load. I would like to hang out and help. And then Mark Arnold swiftly responded, they have a hair length requirement to get in, Russell. No hippies allowed. So I don't know. Lurch is he's the chief operations officer, and he pretty much makes my schedule. So I have no idea how to answer that. Oh,
I answered him. I said, we'll be here.
Okay.
Come on by.
Hit us up, Russell.
Yeah, there is no hair deal because I won't be cutting my hair for 3 years as soon as I retire next year. So.
Oh, God.
I tried, man. I started letting mine grow out, and it got to that weird stage. It looked like shit. I just couldn't push through.
In fact, when the rare podcasts that I do, I will have it put into my contract that there will be like a light fan so that my hair will blow back in the camera.
Lovely locks blowing.
We can arrange that.
Yep.
We can definitely arrange that. Let's do this real quick, and we'll dive back in, Lurch.
Hey, Bikeaholics, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? Zero 3D has products you dream about for your bike. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson and Honda Goldwing motorcycle. Zero 3D's got your back with chrome and black parts, lighting, and other comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation. That equals less time installing and more time riding. Zero 3D has a design team with riders with over 40 years of experience with a passion for design and innovation. Zero and Goldstrike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug and play system compatibility. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them via email at sales@zero3d.com or give them a call at 715-808-0027. Check at your local Harley or Honda dealership and ask for Zero or Gold Strike parts. A new leader has emerged, so check out Zero 3D's custom line of Gold Strike products for the all-new Honda Goldwing.
I like it, the gold.
Better yet, help support us and head on over to Law Abiding Biker Store and check out our full line of Zero 3D products.
So it is a beautiful bike that Big Daddy Kane purchased, and it was put on the lift today. Let's talk about this little project here that we did on it today while we were waiting for Brad. Well, and then he stayed and watched for a while we filmed it. It will be coming out on the YouTube channel. We'll just say that real quick is that, we're kind of Harley-centric, or we'd like to be more Indian stuff too, which we hope to in the future. But we love all bikes here. As long as your knees are in the breeze, whether it's street adventure, off-road, whatever, we support all motorcycles here on this podcast. So let's talk about the project on the old BMW and what I thought at Giva.
Yeah,
Giva. What is it?
Givy.
Oh,
Givy. We don't know what it is.
Givy.
G-I-V-I. It's either Givy, Givy.
We
don't know.
Yeah, we're not sure still.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. We found two or three different deals. So I've been working on this project now for a few weeks. This particular project I saved to film because I thought it would be a good one, not just to help out bikers, but also, we obviously considered store considerations as well. So before this, I had done other projects such as new pegs and replace the windshield. I'd put on a skid pan. And so far, anything I'd used with this company, I'd been very satisfied with as far as how it mounted up to the bike. Everything worked very well. I can tell you there'd been other products that I had purchased from major companies that are probably the leaders coming out of Germany, where, like, for instance, a windshield where the holes were off for the mounting, to where I'm probably, if I'm ever going to try to use that windshield, we're probably going to have to Dremel it out and see if we can somehow get it to work with maybe like some rubber grommets or something.
Did you say grommets?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Is that German for grommet?
Yes. Yes, it is.
All right, just want to make sure.
Actually, it's Indiana.
Okay.
So there's been a bunch of stuff that I've been doing to it that I've just been doing in the garage. But this project here I saved after I talked to Lurch about it. And this was a good item because a lot of the stuff that you found on the market as far as engine guards, they were typically lowers and uppers. And this particular engine guard was a good mix of the two. And they were in short supply, which typically means they're very popular, means they're good selling, at least in my experience of running the store for the last 5 years or so. Mm-hmm. And it does provide, I think, good protection as far as looking at it on the bike as far as protecting not only the engine, especially around the radiator inlet into the motor, but also some of the upper plastics, which a lot of them don't do that. They'll just do the bottom and then you'll have to buy the upper. But we ran into some key things that, and I'll let Lurch get into that part, but we ran into some things that were kind of interesting in installing this, that we had to kind of jerry rig our ways into making it work, versus in the past with other products by other companies I didn't find. So it was really quite interesting that I wasn't expecting, because my past experience with this company has been that everything has been very right on.
Till today. How do you spell the company's name?
GIVI.
GIVI. GV.
Givy.
Givy.
We don't know.
That sounds more sophisticated. Givy. Jivey.
Yeah.
Jivey.
So the major players in this market traditionally are Southwest Motec and Touratech, which are German companies. And this company, as I understand it, is an Italian company. And like I said, I have their skid pan and I have some other products that have worked pretty well on the bike. This product, as far as the protection it provides, is a good all-in-one. Like I said, we just ran into some little snafus that we weren't expecting as far as mounting to the brackets that they provided. The brackets fit. It was just mounting the actual crash bars to those brackets. And so it was kind of interesting to see. I wasn't expecting it, but then again, we always expect the unexpected.
That's right.
Yeah, it's got 4 brackets. It's got an upper bracket and a lower bracket that you mount to the bike. And then the crash bars are 2-piece, so one bolts on each side. And then there is a coupler in the middle that connects the 2 halves. And the first thing we ran into is when we lined up the right side.
Sure, it's called a coupler because Big Daddy called it a plug.
Well, I don't think it's.
He kept
kind
calling
of
it
is
a plug.
a plug.
It's a double-ended plug.
It's a plug that plugs in back into the round tube. So
I don't know that I would refer to it as a plug, but it could be a double-ended plug. Yeah.
Got one of those. Big Daddy's got one of those under his bed.
Some double-ended plugs.
Double-ended plug, yeah.
To get us back on track.
Us?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. We mounted up the right side in the top half of the top bracket to the crash bar, and that lined up pretty good. But the problem was then lining up to the lower bracket. It was off, I don't know, 1/4 inch at least. And so on that side, Rick was able to grab onto it, put some pressure, and move it down to a position where I could get the 2 lower bolts into the lower bracket. When we moved around to the other side, that it was also off again in a similar fashion, but we decided to use some straps instead of Rick pulling on it, because it's really hard to when you pull on a tube like that and then hold it in place. It was kind of moving around a little bit. It's hard for me to get that screw in, so we put a strap on it and kind of contorted the bars a little bit until we
broke my straps.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
That's the
Not
next
yet.
part. Yeah.
And so when you move around to the left side, you slide the double-ended plug.
God, you can't say it with a straight face.
From one side to the other, and then you start lining up your bolt holes for your brackets, and so you have a little less flexibility. But we were able to use some straps and kind of line it up and get those bottom ones connected. Now, Rick had watched another video before doing this install where somebody had to hook a ratchet strap to both sides of the crash bars and pull it together to get that coupler in the right place. Mm-hmm. And so we found the same thing. It was probably off maybe 3/8 of an inch to a 1/2 inch.
I'd agree with that.
And we needed to bring it together.
Which is a lot when you're talking about pretty stout steel.
Yes. Yeah. Tube and with all the bends and everything. So we put a strap on it and we ratcheted the strap down, and there was a lot of tension on it. I noticed that as I was cranking it down, I was starting to flex the handle on the strap. So
I was waiting for it to snap.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to snap and hit me in the face. So I grabbed another strap and then ratcheted it down again. And eventually we were able to pull the 2 sides of the crash bars together and get the last screw in. So it's really nice as far as finish. It's a good looking setup. I think it's going to protect your motor and your plastics quite well. Just the fit was off a little bit.
Yeah.
But
quite a bit.
It made for a fun install.
Yeah.
Had to get creative.
Yeah, and we're going to do a full video, of course, showing you all that, the whole process, and that will be coming out on the Law Abiding Biker YouTube channel for y'all, a BMW engine 850 engine guard install. So look forward to that. Now, Big Daddy, I want to talk to you about this bike a little bit more, and basically some of the things you've done to it so far. Aside from that, then I've got some questions about the bike, maybe talk some more spec stuff, and we'll get into that here in just a moment. Why don't you roll with this, Big Daddy?
Are you searching for the easiest and quickest detachable luggage rack system for your motorcycle?
Oh, hell yeah, I am.
Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that can come loose and slap your paint.
Slap your paint.
Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome quick attached strapless luggage rack systems. This father and son team designed something really special that you can't find anywhere else. Yep, and these guys ride, so they truly understand the needs of bikers. The Rick Rack Quick Attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick detach system. Once you use a Rick Rack, you'll never go back. What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Head on over to the Law Abiding Biker store and check out our full line of Rick Rack systems. You know what that address is, lawabidingbiker.com/store.
There it is. I was waiting for it.
Russell Roberts says BDK has
He's got a sexy
radio voice.
He does.
I thought
He's
it
got
was more like a porn voice.
It is a porn voice. He needs a stash, and then it would just work perfect. Just perfect. All right, Big Daddy. Thanks
Mark
for
Arnold says smooth, Big Daddy.
Smooth operator. Yeah, there he is. Big Daddy, why don't you tell us about what you've done to this bike, some of the projects you've done besides this project that you've done on your own?
Well, I started with a windshield because the stock windshield, I swear, wasn't probably even taller than maybe 10 to 12 inches.
So basically what you're saying is BMW is like Harley. They sell you the base, and then you got to just spend a whole bunch of money to make it yours.
I think that they
pretty standard.
Assume everybody is like 5'2" to 5'6", 5'7".
Maybe.
It was just enough to cover the TFT screen.
Us common-sized people, right?
Yeah.
And
you
so
normal people.
That's right.
I purchased a Touratech windshield, which is Touratech USA is right here in Seattle, Washington.
We got no affiliation with them.
No. Well, they own Cruise Tools, and so we know
yeah. Okay, there you go.
But I bought a windshield from them, and the holes did not line up. Tried to install it, and all the holes were off. So put that back in the box and ordered another windshield through our affiliate link with Revzilla.
Lawabidingbiker.com/Revzilla.
And put that on there. So I have a taller windshield. And then the next thing I did was I ordered some bark busters. And
tell people what those are, because not everybody listens to this as adventure.
Yeah, bark busters basically are aluminum protectors that go to the end of your handlebars, and then they mount to your handlebars. And then you put a set of plastic covers over them so that if you're riding out in the woods and stuff, if you come across branches and stuff, they protect your hands. They also provide some wind protection, but mainly they're to protect your brake and your clutch switches and protect your hands in case if you crash or if you hit trees
bark
and stuff
busters,
like that.
That's where the name came from, yeah.
So I put on a set of those, and then I think the next thing I did after that was I replaced the stock foot pegs with some Touratech aluminum foot pegs that actually lowered by about 0.8 of an inch to give a little bit more of a relaxing knee bend for a little bit more comfort, but they're also wider and a little bit longer out. So a little bit better for stand up, and then also a little bit better if you're wearing heavy boots, because when you're out riding, you should be wearing protective boots in case you crash or, you're coming across brush that's hitting like a, I've been out, like when I went out to Hepner, you're riding through, you've been there, but I was going through some single and double track where all of a sudden out of nowhere, here comes a tree branch and it's smacking your leg.
Yep.
So these accommodate those types of boots a little bit better. And then I added an adjustable, foldable gear shifter. So one of the things that a lot of people don't think about unless you've done this before or you've done some research is if you crash your bike and you crash down the left side and you break your shifter, you're kind of screwed. So a foldable gear shifter allows it to bend back, doesn't break your shifter, and you can continue on down the road. So I went with that. And adjustable is because I'm a taller guy, bigger feet. So allows me to adjust it to the boots.
Bigger feet's the only thing you got.
Yeah, pretty much. And then
he's all boot.
He's all boot.
I'm all ball sack, no dick.
All balls.
Saggy balls, Mr. Saggy Balls.
And then I added a brake lever.
Can you say lever, please?
No, lever.
In German, it's lever.
Okay, but I'm not German, so.
You said grommet earlier, so say lever. Just say lever.
Lever.
Not liver, lever.
Lever.
Okay, there you go.
So I added an enlarger.
Sound like Hannibal Lecter there.
Yeah.
I want to eat your liver with some nice Chianti and some farba beans.
So the stock brake pedal is pretty small, especially if you're wearing boots or you got big feet. So this is an enlargement pad that goes, basically attaches to the stock one. It fits very well, done by Tortec. Basically enlarges it probably 2/3 of the size. And I really noticed how much I liked it on the ride up here. So I enlarged the brake pedal. And I think that's all that I can really recall. Oh,
you put some risers on the
Oh yeah.
bars.
Talk about those $75 bolts you bought.
So the bike that I bought came with a BMW Motorrad GPS system that attaches to the risers, which is a very expensive system. It's a Garmin-based system. Well, there's only one company that makes the bolts that if you are going to maintain that riser mount, and that's Tortec. And so
Got you by the balls.
yeah.
So if you didn't have the risers on there, you wouldn't need these special bolts?
No.
Okay, were they longer or how's it what
Because
makes
that's
it special?
That's a stock, right? That's an OEM Garmin mount.
Yeah,
right.
The stock mount that was on it is nothing more than just the bolts, and the bolts go through the stock top clamp.
Gotcha.
When you add the 35 millimeter riser to the bottom, then you have to have the longer bolts because now they're going through more space.
Sure.
But the problem is that they produce the longer bolts, but the mounting bolts for the GPS into those bolts that mount down and through your stock top clamp and then through the risers, those bolts have to be milled to accept those BMW Motorrad GPS riser mount, right? Mm-hmm. Well, BMW doesn't produce those because they only produce the kit that comes and using the stock risers. So you can't use you basically you have to buy these bolts that are specifically milled in the center of the bolt that are not only long enough to use for the 35, or you can get the 28 millimeter riser. I think they're 28. But then with these special bolts, you can reattach your BMW riser mounted GPS. So yeah, I bought
how much
the
those bolts cost?
They're like $70, $75
For 4 bolts.
For 4 bolts.
Bam.
Jesus.
So you buy
Hold on a second. You're gonna need this after that.
Yeah.
Needed Vaseline at that time.
You're gonna need the dude wipes to clean up after that.
Of all
raping.
most of the parts that I bought were somewhat reasonable. In fact, some of them I thought were more reasonable than buying like a Harley part if you were updating your Harley or something. But the bolts were a little extravagant. But they were the only company that was making them. If you wanted to maintain that BMW riser mounted GPS, you had to buy their bolts. Nobody else makes them. And that's why they cost so much. Mm-hmm. So I wanted the risers. So I did the risers, put the handlebar on there, the clamps, and then had to use these bolts. And then you can remount your BMW GPS to it. So that's pretty much everything that's there. I don't really care for the saddlebags too much. I mean, the saddlebags
those are some stock BMW plastic bags, right?
Well, they're not stock. The bikes don't come with them unless you get the Adventure Series.
But it's OEM, right?
Yeah, OEM.
Yeah, they're OEM.
Say. Thanks.
They're expandable, which is nice. You can expand them in or out. That makes it nice. And these are kind of like the plastic or polymer Pan America ones that are going to be coming out, where you can they just attach to the bike itself. You don't have to buy any special racks or anything. But obviously, the first wreck you get into, they're going to be destroyed because they're just hooking into the top mounts, on the bike, and then they clip on the bottom into the bottom. So that's why I say that whoever bought this bike initially, it's obvious to me he was setting this up for street, because to take them off, you press this one little button, and they have a handle, and you can haul them into your hotel. And he had the street tires on there, so I mean, he obviously had them. So obviously, since we're not doing overnight trips or anything yet, I'll just leave them at Justin's house or your house, and I have a tail bag that I'll put the toolkit in and and the tire and the battery jumper, and we'll just run the tail bag without any bags. But eventually, if we start doing overnight stuff where we're going up riding, camping for the night, and then coming back, then maybe I'll look at something like soft bags, like what Justin has or what you've ordered. But then you have to get racks, because then you need the racks. So
then you need the racks,
some type of rack,
and I don't want to spend that money. For me right now, I don't want to spend that kind of money. It was more important for me to make it comfortable with the risers, the foot pegs, and get the engine guard protection, stuff like that.
Russell Roberts would like to know when you're going to Alaska, because that's on your bucket list, isn't it, for retirement?
I said that I was going to do it after I retired. I was going to take 3 weeks and hopefully have somebody go with me, because obviously we can't go into Canada with our guns. So I'd like to have a second person. I wanted to take, 2-3 weeks and ride. They allow
squirt guns in Canada. You can take or Alaska. You can take your squirt gun.
Yeah, just put holy water in it, and I'm sure that would protect you.
Have Mark Arnold meet you at the border and hook you up with some type of protection device.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to risk his freedom like that, but that was one of the things.
I didn't specify what. I just said a protection device.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've wanted to do, was basically just ride up through Canada, get to Alaska, spend a couple days there. I've heard that there's like companies up there that will take you up onto like half day or day long trails that you can go up and just spend a couple days up there and then ride back.
Be badass.
I'd like to. With the store and everything, it's kind of tough. We'd have to arrange it to where we got somebody to take care of the store while I do it. But that's one of the things I want to do when I retire.
Mark Arnold says you can take a slingshot.
Oh, there you go.
In the chat.
Yeah.
Dude, the old slingshot. I was pretty deadly with one of those when I was a boy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. Kill a few birds with my slingshot.
Guess I'll be carrying bear spray.
There you go. So yeah, a lot of projects going on the bike. I will say this. I haven't, I'm not giving a review of it because I haven't spent any time on it, but just glancing around it, it's a beautiful bike. I like a lot of things about it. One of my initial complaints on it, because we're honest here on this podcast and on our YouTube channel, there's always cons to bikes, is I don't like the fact that they separated the screen, the main infotainment, and you have to have a separate GPS instead of integrating that like the other companies into one big screen. That would be one of my complaints.
All right. I think that's valid.
Yeah, they got the big screen there. So the screen shows you everything else, but then they didn't want to integrate the GPS. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
What does it show, the screen, if it doesn't show GPS?
No, the screen has the main information about the bike. And then when you go into the different modes, they show
talk about those modes too. And then the screen and the modes. We forgot about that.
Well, in the screens, there's the section that shows about what's going on with the bike as far as temperature and fuel mileage and tire pressure, stuff like that. And then it goes into a whole section of setup and communication area, so that if you wanted to, you could sync your phone to it.
Okay.
And you could sync your
Bluetooth, obviously.
all that. So there's all that. Why they did the separate, I don't know. Maybe they do on the new ones. I don't know. This is a 2019, so
yeah, maybe
I don't know why they're doing that. But this has the separate GPS setup. But the 850, the reason why I chose the 850 over the 750 was, one, because has the bigger fuel intake, and it has the hotter cam, which gets it to the 90 horsepower instead of like 73 or 75. Also because of the ride modes, because it has 3 separate ride modes where you can do rain, road, or dynamic. And if you just use the ride modes, it adjusts the rear suspension to that. So if you're in road, it's like riding like on a Cadillac. And if you go into dynamic, it stiffens everything's up. Also in dynamic, it changes the motor, the way the motor reacts. It's a lot peppier, a lot more peppy. And then you can also adjust separately. So you can have the motor in dynamic, but you could still have the suspension if you wanted to in road mode, or you could have the motor in road mode if you wanted to save gas mileage, but you could still run the suspension in dynamic. And it's just like the Pan America. The more weight you put on it, it senses that and adjusts it. So
Gotcha.
If you're on it and you're in road mode and say you're in neutral and you just started up the bike and you're in road mode, when you hit to dynamic, you can actually feel the bike raise up. So you can feel how it does that. And then it's got the whole anti-lock brake system. It's got where it will sense if it's raining, it will switch to that.
Oh, okay.
Or you can actually turn off if you're on off roads and you're going to be doing a lot of stuff, like if you're doing tight pins and
if
you
you
need
want
to spin the tires,
stuff,
you can turn that off. Versus the 750 doesn't have any of that. The 750 is more set up for road stuff. But although guys are taking 750s and they're adding all, they can't add the road mode stuff. And then you can even add more to this. Like with the 850, you can even pay to get a plug-in, and you can pay to get the Enduro plug-in.
Oh, okay.
And you can get the Enduro plug-in, and then it's like really a crazy setup where you can fine-tune it yourself to what you're going to be doing off-road. But I don't think I'm going to need that for what we're going to be doing.
Yep. But I will say this bike has adjustable suspension, but it's not lowering when you stop.
No.
Okay. It doesn't have that mode. But yeah, it's yeah. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the bike?
It's a great bike, and I explained in another podcast why I chose the KLR. Where we live, especially where I'm at, I can be up in the woods in 20 minutes and very little pavement. The KLR is not going to be a great touring road bike by any means. I just wanted something that wasn't terribly expensive, that I can get up in the hills and maybe thrash around a little bit.
We don't got to ride the 80 miles here and back like Big Daddy.
It makes a lot more sense with Rick wanting something that's a little more road capable, so he can put on some more miles before he gets here. And also with his aspirations of going up to Alaska, it'd be a lot more comfortable on that bike.
Yeah.
He's looking at twice the horsepower that we have, ABS, rain modes, track, all the kinds of stuff. It's a much more suited bike for street riding. So, and I agree with something Rick said earlier, and I think I probably said it too. If I could only have one bike, I'd go with a Pan America. But I want my street bike, and I want my dirt bike too. And so I like it. It's a beautiful bike. I look forward to riding it. It's just a little more than what I need at this time. Yep. I like it. It's good.
Yep.
I can tell you, Justin, he must have really had to go, or else he didn't want to get sucked into this podcast. Because for the last 3 weeks, all he's been saying is, I can't wait to ride it. I want to ride it. He said that this is the bike that he wants.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He rides Beamers for work too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he rides a BMW at work.
It's not even that it's a BMW. He knows that the 850 is that perfect compromise.
Yeah, right.
It's a good size. It's not huge.
Yeah, like he said, it's like, if he could have one, it'd be the Pan America, right? Because we like Harleys, and I've never ridden the Pan America, but everything I've seen on it, it would be perfect, right?
Number one selling adventure bike in North America.
It'd be
Most
perfect.
people don't know that.
Yeah,
it is the number one selling.
And I'll be honest with you, if I could have picked up a used Pan America or even a new one, and I could have ordered the panniers, especially the special that already had the engine guards on it, and I could have ordered the panniers and had it all outfitted, I would have seriously considered. Now, Justin brought a good point, and I know this from having dabbled in this before. You're going to dump your bike. I've dumped my 1200 BMW out back behind my house, jumping off some whoops, and I hit 5 inches of powder, right? Yep. And it falls in the powder and doesn't damage the bike. I mean, it might move the bark busters a little bit, and you have to loosen them up and move them back into place. But you're going to scratch stuff up, and I get why you guys say, hey, this bike, if it gets scratched up, and trust me, I've thought about that, but I've also got to think about, I got to be, like Justin told me, you got to be comfortable riding up here until we find spots down there in the blues where you guys come down there, whether you trailer it down and stay at my place and then we go up into the blues, or we still got to find other places and stuff, but it's going to be that. But I think eventually if we stay in this, maybe everybody will be on Pan Americas or BMWs or KTMs, and
I love them all.
Progress.
Yeah.
We'll progress. But for right now, if I lived up here, I would have went with the KLR too.
Yep.
But I'm just thinking, riding that KLR from the Tri-Cities to here.
Oh no, I get it. Yeah. No. 5 minutes I'm off road on the LT Murray and hitting tree line within 15, so I definitely would have too, for sure.
A Pan America may show up in my garage at some point in the future.
Especially if I do.
If I really enjoy
when
this,
we retire, and we do want to do Alaska trip or something. Yeah, I'm getting older. The KLR long-term road it hurts after a while. I'm not going to lie to you. Just riding up to tree phones and stuff, getting up to the Atanum is your knees start getting locked, and the seat, you got to stand a lot. So,
and there's so many good bikes. I love
them all.
The KTMs are absolutely stunning, gorgeous.
I looked at those.
Super powerful bikes. They're more built for off-road. And if I could have found an 890 KTM, used 890 KTM, or even a 790, although my friend who has an 890 now, and she was looking at a 790, she's a retired cop. She told me the 790 would be too small for you. She goes, the 850 is perfect size for you, because a lot of people think, oh, it's only an 850. That's too small for a big guy. They don't realize that that's not a small frame. That's not a small bike.
Right.
And that motor has plenty of punch.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm excited that you got back into the adventure game so we can bring you along, because we're right on the edge of being able to go now that the weather's getting just a little bit better. Some things are drying out. We've had a crazy spring here in the Yakima Valley area and Tri-Cities. It's been a really, really unique spring. We're usually riding like adventure by now, but a lot of where we ride gets really muddy, and it's been raining a lot.
And snow. We had snow in April.
Yeah.
It's rained like nobody's business this month.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
Yep. All right, let's do this real quick, and then we're going to talk about some store stuff. Want to ride longer?
Yeah.
Treat your ass with some respect already.
It's a lot of ass talk.
Oh, that ass. Get hooked up with a premium butt buffer seat cushion. This company of bikers developed a super thin hospital-grade seat cushion made of solid and elastic materials. And it's unlike those gel pads that will leak if punctured, and they'll freeze when it's cold. The butt buffer is designed not to slide around in your seat. Fits all motorcycles, installs in seconds, easy cleans, and helps to dampen those gall-darn vibrations. With plenty of models to choose from, they assure you'll have a comfortable ass when riding. Head over to Law Abiding Biker store and check out our full line of butt buffer seat cushions, and I will tell you that I run a butt buffer on my KLR 650 while riding off-road, and I love it. I just use the smaller version of it that's made for passenger pillion pad, and it saves my ass when me and Oscar have been out on those long days.
I'm going to need one for mine.
Yep. You're sitting next to the store manager. You might want to get one on your way.
I actually have one in my car.
Yeah, you did.
My red car.
Nice.
I have one in my red car. And
little red Corvette.
Little red Corvette.
I knew you were going to.
Yeah, I actually put one in there, and man, it makes and my truck. I have one in my truck. I love them.
Yeah, I need to get one. I need to get one for the car, for my new truck. Maybe whenever if it ever gets here. It's on the assembly line. All right. So Big Daddy Kane, since we got you in here, we're going to finish this episode out with updated store items and kind of what's going on down there and what people could look forward to, maybe what products that you want to talk about, or we're always adding new stuff. So new categories and menus in there. We're just tearing it up. And I know you've been busy shipping all that stuff out to our awesome audience.
Yeah, it's been really busy. We've been blessed, and we appreciate all of our, first of all, our fans and followers, and then also our people who buy from us. It's been crazy working full-time job in this, and sometimes it's exhausting. but it's been good. We've added the Boss Audio 2-speaker stereo system with an amplifier that is dual purpose. It not only satisfies for the Batwing fairings, but also the road glides. And we have a video that just came out on that. And we're working on a saddlebag stereo system for that as well, for the speakers, the people that want to add that. We've added the TAC 10 lights for the Batwing and the Road Glide. We recently I added foam sunglasses to the store. In fact, I ran an email last Monday and sold out of the photochromatic glasses within about 5 days. Those are pretty nice. They turn darker in the sun. I just ordered some more, but they're currently out of stock in the warehouse, but we'll be getting some more of those.
Supply chain.
And, but those have been pretty popular. Obviously, the biker grippers, the black control mounts are very, very popular. We're out of the chrome control mounts right now, but we have some on order. And
before you move on, since we're talking about your BMW, did you get a bike? Were you able to get a biker gripper hooked up to your Beamer?
Yeah. So a lot of people have questions about that, and I can't say that the biker gripper control mount is going to work for every single bike just because it has metric bolts.
The control mount version, right?
Yes.
Yep. Which mounts to your control clusters, right?
Yeah. Okay. It's but I had looked at the manufacturer specs and stuff, and I was able to mount the control mount system on my bike using the shorter spacers. And so we were able to put that together, and I added that to my BMW. And before that, I just used the universal handlebar one, but we were able to do that. And we had a restock of the Speed and Strength armored shirts.
True Grit Moto shirts, which we cannot keep in stock. How are we doing on that? Let's look it up.
I think we have every size except for the mediums. Mediums have not come in, and we basically can't get them.
Okay.
But we've got large and extra large, 2X and 3X.
That's the shirt, guys. If you watch the last 3 videos I did, the Street Glide ST, the Lowrider ST, and the Nightster reviews for Harley Davidson, I'm wearing that shirt in all 3 of those videos, and we're loving that thing. But it is in stock in those sizes, so that's good. We're able to get that, but they sell out quick. I'm telling you, they sell out quick, and we just don't know when we're going to get more. So if you want to nab one up, now's the time. Yeah,
and the important thing for people to realize, we don't get very many returns on them, but look at the fitment charts, because these are a shirt. These are not a flannel jacket type that a lot of the companies that you get on some of the internet-based companies that sell lots of stuff, big corporations, they'll be rather loose and baggy, and they're more of like a jacket fit. This is truly to be fit like a shirt. So sometimes you'll get somebody and be like, I always wear an extra large. I put this on and the sleeves were a little too tight because I was wearing my sweatshirt underneath it. These are intended to be an armored shirt, not necessarily an armored jacket. But fortunately, we don't get very many returns. I think people look at the fitment and understand that. But
sizing chart is at the bottom of the listing, and pro tip is listed there. If you plan to layer, we suggest a size up so it's a little baggy due to taper in the body. Pro tip right there, and the size chart and the video on the listing. I see. I know that's
nice work.
I saw that. Nice work. Pro tip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are meant to be a shirt, not a jacket. So, but they're flying off. They fly off. I mean, I've bought what I can get, and the cool thing about this is it's owned by Tucker. Tucker actually our distributor. They actually own Speed and Strength, and so when they have them, I've been basically getting everything that I can get. And so I think we may be able to get one more round, but I'm waiting to clear out what we have so that I can have space to get some more. But I would definitely say people, if they're thinking about it, they need to jump on it now.
Is that supply chain issues on these across the board, or is that why we're having troubles getting these?
No, this shirt was mainly because we basically bought them all out last year.
Right.
I mean, last year we ordered 85, 90 of them, and we sold out in 10 days.
We dropped that video and we were sold out in 10 days.
We sold out all 85, 90 of them in 10 days. And so they didn't get more until a year later.
Yeah,
and
they only do one run of them in the spring, and you got to get what you can get.
Yeah, and so this year I think they were prepared for that and had more. And so I've ordered in 2 batches now, and looking at their numbers, it seems like they have more of the extra large and 2X. Our biggest seller has been the large size. The mediums haven't even come into their warehouses yet, but we've never really sold very many mediums to begin with. But so I've gotten 2 batches, and once we thin out a little bit more of what we've got now, then we'll go for the 3rd batch if they're available. But I would foresee that once we get our 3rd batch, because there's all these other dealers that are trying to buy these as well, we probably won't have them for another year, and then I'll deal with emails, 2 or 3 emails a week. Hey, when are you going to get more of these? I don't know.
Yep.
Probably be next year sometime.
Yep.
It's when it comes to clothing, they'll typically do that, It's even like our black T-shirts right now. I've been waiting a month and a half to get more black T-shirts. It's all coming from, the shirts come from overseas, and it's taking time to get them.
The regular law-abiding biker T-shirts, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Our
just
swag.
taking longer times to get stuff. And so even like Bluetooth headsets coming over have, Senna's taken a while to get stuff, and Vance and Hines for a while. It took like me almost 6 months before I even saw any inventory for that. So, and now you have the whole issue where China's in lockdown again. So, if you see something and you're on the fence whether you want it or not, if you see it's available, take advantage of the payment program and get it now versus, because it may not be available later in the year.
John Yates in the patron member only chat says, great shirt. Yes, it is. I love mine.
Me too.
You got any store questions there, Lurchy?
We had one from Chris Lezak.
Patron member Chris Lezak in the chat.
Wanted Rick to kind of talk about the 2 different communicators we have, and do they communicate with each other and that kind of stuff. Just some basic overall.
Yeah, why don't you pop up the workflow, and I'll read the question and I'll answer it. I talked to him a little bit like this on the phone, but it's a good question for the listeners. I'll not read that first part. What's the difference between the headsets that are offered? And I'm not sure, not only would I like to hear how the 2 different you can pair together for multiple units communicating. So we carry the 2 main brands. We carry Cardo and Senna. Now, granted, you can go on Amazon or any multiple of companies on eBay, and you'll find a lot of different name brands, probably from China or Singapore or something like that.
Can you say China?
China virus. So you'll find a lot of different brands out there with like strange names. We stick to major brands because obviously for warranty and stuff like that. So when it comes to preferring one brand over the other, I'm going to liken this to whether you like Ford or Chevrolet, or whether you like Ram, or whether you like GMC, etc. Senna has been in the business a long time, so has Cardo. In the past, traditionally, if you wanted to communicate with another person with a Bluetooth communicator, you had to have the same brand. That was just the way it was. A few years ago, these companies started coming out advertising that they had universal pairing. Now, when you and I, when we first got into the 20Ss, those were supposedly universal pairings. And I had tried to pair with Cardos before with the universal pairing, and I could not get them to work, even though both units said that they were universal pairing.
Same here.
In everything that I've researched, today's modern units are far better at that. We have not tested it here at Law Abiding Biker because we're all using Senna's primarily because we use the Harley Davidson branded deals because we have the wireless headset interface modules. But in everything that I've read, these units, the universal pairing is a lot better, and the companies, both companies, say that it's possible to do. So when it comes down to the brand Senna versus Cardo, you will find people that are diehard Cardo, and you're going to find people that are diehard Senna. To me, I don't particularly have a brand preference. I use the Senna because that's what I have to use.
Ecosystem we're in. Yep.
I have to use that to use the whim. And if I was specifically, if I didn't already own the 30K Harley Davidson coded boom audio that I have on my helmet that I'm using for this BMW to listen, that's paired to my phone to listen to music when I'm riding, I would probably buy a Cardo just so I could try it out and test it and stuff like that. I'd have no qualms whatsoever, especially this new Cardo system come out. Our rep from Tucker speaks very highly of them. American company, American-based customer service. The new systems that are out, I put 2 in the store. They have great quantities in the warehouses. He speaks very highly of their customer service. He speaks very highly of the quality of the units. And of course, the new units come out now with the JBL speaker system. So if I was in the market, and I was just going to buy a Bluetooth communicator and it didn't have to be Harley branded, I would go with the Cardo and put it on my adventure bike helmet and sync it to my phone, and I would use it and try it. And I have no doubt, based on what our rep has told me, that I would thoroughly enjoy it and I'd be satisfied with it. But I already own this 30K and I use the 50 for my Harley bike. So there's no reason for me to buy another one. But if this ever goes out, you'll see me on this BMW running a Cardo. I think the Cardo is a good looking unit too.
What about this one on Amazon? A Wipe Eyes E1 Bluetooth helmet intercom set for $36.
I would say that
get it and then smash it.
I would say that I would trust your mint butt wipes. Probably more than that unit would probably stand up to the test of time. But you know,
the Cardos, I can see, to answer Chris Lezak a little bit further, Rick, that's great information. I can see us in the future. I would stay tuned for that. I think we need to add it to the list, a long list of shit we need to do.
All right, get us a Cardo up here.
Well, we need a couple, and I'd like to give them a test. I've used Cardo in the past.
Yeah, your Schuberth.
My Schuberth had my Schuberth C3 helmet had a integrated neck roll that was made by Cardo, and I paired it directly to my phone. And it worked great. Again, Senna, however you want to say it. It's kind of like Givy. You know, we're in that ecosystem because Hardy got in bed with Senna, and that's just the way it is. And so we kind of, eventually the club just all moved around to Senna because we were all running it. And yeah, they're supposed to talk cross-platform, but honestly, that may or may not work. And when you're riding with a bunch of guys that are already in a specific ecosystem, you just tend to go that way. It makes everything easier.
Plus, you got to remember when they say universal pairing, they're talking about Bluetooth intercoms.
Right.
And if you're like with us, if we were to use it again, we haven't used it in a couple years, but a lot of people now aren't really using Bluetooth intercom anymore. They're with the Sennas, they're using the mesh. So if you're riding with a bunch of guys and you all have Sennas and you can go to a private mesh network that's secured, if you're the guy with the Cardo, you're not going to be talking to them because your Cardo doesn't have the technology to blend in. When they talk about universal pairing, they're talking strictly the Bluetooth aspect of it.
Which doesn't have nearly as good signal and things.
So when you know, there's with the Sennas, you have, of course, obviously you have the open mesh and then you have the closed mesh, and the mesh gives you a lot more privacy, and of course the mesh stays open, and so you can do a lot of that. We don't use it that often because, you know, pretty much we just like to ride and listen to our music. But if we have to, you know, the mesh is a little bit easier with the intercom, with the Bluetooth intercom. You got to set up and pair. So you got one, then you got to press it twice for two. And there's definitely a use for it. But if, like with us, if we had one guy that had a Cardo and everybody else has Senna, he's not going to be able to. Otherwise, we would all have to make the sacrifice and say, we're not going to use the mesh and we're all going to be on this Bluetooth intercom system. So it's like I told Chris, I said, I would not in 1 second be afraid to buy the Cardo. I've heard nothing but good things. If it's just for you and your wife to be able to Bluetooth intercom to each other and talk to each other, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it. And you could go with either one. And that's why with the one thing I did like when I added the Cardo is that I was able to add a couple options, because I added 2 different of their new products, one that's a little less expensive and one that's a little bit more expensive. Versus with the Senna, all you get is the 50, the 30. We don't even carry the 20 anymore, but it's under headsets.
Did I pass it? There it is. Yeah. Let's just do headsets. I'm going to show you guys what we're looking at in the store here. You'll see my screen. So, yep, we've got the HD speakers for the Senna, 50S mesh, and then down here we've got the Cardo Freecom 4X dual pack and the Cardom Freecom 4X.
Yeah. So they have another unit of the Cardo, but it's hidden because they don't have them in stock. So a lot of times you guys will find if I can't get a hold of it, instead of people emailing me all the time wondering when I'm going to have it, this is behind the scenes stuff, but I will draft stuff so that you can't even see it. Mm-hmm. So just like right now, I can't get any 30Ks, even though I love the 30K. I think the 30K is a great unit. But I can get the dual units, but I can't get any of the singles.
A 4-pack of Freecom Cardos. That's a great price.
That's
$499.
It's a 4X.
4X dual pack. Sorry, my bad.
But you'll see if you click on the 50S dual pack, you'll see the price difference. Look at this Senna one.
Is it here?
Yeah, just click on that.
Okay. I'm going to show you guys my screen so you know what we're doing here.
So it's $639 versus $499.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, I had good luck with the Cardos when I used it.
It's a little bit more futuristic looking.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it does look different. Yeah.
But I would have no qualms. Like I said, if for some reason this 30K went out, I would be buying that Cardo Freecom. I mean, $269, and there's nothing. I've heard nothing but good things, but it's a good question that Chris asked, especially if you got a new bike and you're just getting into the whole Bluetooth thing. Believe it or not, I still get probably 5 questions a week about, the old corded headsets that we used to sell.
Yep.
Hey, do you still have these? And like
the old IMCs.
Yeah, I'm like, no, we don't sell them anymore because we just didn't have as much demand. And people still, there's still some people who like that cord, but
it's the cheapest way to get in.
Yeah, but
it's reliable.
Well, not really, because the cords wave up and down, and you lose sound, and this is far better if you're. But then people are like, okay, well, I'll buy the 50S from you, and then what do? I just pair it with my GTS or my Boom 6.5, and then I get all the music from that. No, you got to buy the Whim if you want that aspect of it. Oh well. Oh, okay. Blame Harley, not us. That's. But I even added that half helmet system, and I've sold a couple of them.
What half helmet system?
The Senna SP.
Oh yeah.
People who are diehard half helmets. I've sold a few of those where people, can still have the Bluetooth and they can still sync it to their phone and still works well. I noticed that. Those are really advertised quite a bit. I don't know how popular they are. We've sold a couple, but not very many.
So while we're on the subject of the Whim, which if I know a lot of you are familiar, but for the general listening audience, I'll just tell you it's a wireless headset interface module. We have a free video on the YouTube channel on how to install the Whim. Basically, when you buy a Harley, unless it's a CVO model with a boombox infotainment system, it doesn't come with a headset profile. It only comes with a hands-free profile, which means you can sync your phone to your boombox system via Bluetooth, but you cannot sync a wireless headset. Thus, you have to add the OEM Whim. You have to buy it from Harley and install it. Of course, you'll save a lot of money. It's a free install video on our YouTube channel. I will tell you that we get a lot of yakety yak on the YouTube channel about everybody trying to sell these jumpers. Here's the deal. If you want the Apple CarPlay to work or the Android Auto, you've only got a couple options, and that is to buy a Harley Davidson Bluetooth wireless headset, the Senna Boom Audio, or the Hardy wired one. However, we did a recent video. It's on the YouTube channel where we did some testing. We actually got a non-branded 30K to activate Apple CarPlay, but then there was no sound.
Right.
So it's not necessarily 100% true, but who wants that? It was basically useless. So anyways, Lurch sought out and looked at all the stuff coming from China, all the jumpers that everybody's so hot to trot on.
Yeah, there was a guy that was selling them. I can't remember, something 57 off-road or 62 off-road. I don't know. He had his own website. He was selling them. And then not long after, they're all over Amazon. You can find them on Amazon for under $20. And it's a little jumper that plugs into where the WIM would plug in and makes the bike think there's a WIM. And so you can plug in your phone and get Apple CarPlay to come up as far as the projection on the screen, but you got no headsets. You can't use...
Yeah, it's not a replacement for the WIM.
No, you can't.
You'll have to listen to it out of your speaker. So if you're not a headset guy, from what we know, now we haven't tested the jumper. We're actually going to test it and do a video on it for everybody to really...
Hey, Popeye, does your bike have a WIM on it? Answer that for me in the chat if you wouldn't mind.
Because when we're putting by the way, that's another quick topic. We're going to put a cam.
Yeah,
and
SNS.
Yep, a full cam chest kit.
Yeah, 465.
Same one, Brad, patron member Brad Johnston, if you've been in the private Facebook group. We're putting it on Popeye's bike, so I'm excited about that. Reason we asked Popeye is when we have your bike, we're going to do some testing of this jumper since we think he doesn't have a WIM. He just answered no.
Perfect,
so perfect.
Right? His bike will work.
So when Popeye's bike gets down there to do his cam and all that work, we're going to do a full video, full SNS cam chest install video, guys. It's going to be fun. We're looking forward to it. And at that time, we'll test that jumper and we'll be putting out a video because there's so much misinformation. I hear these guys yakking on the YouTube comments and they don't really. One guy told us, oh yeah, my headset works and everything. We're like, no, it's impossible. You're incorrect. Your headset is paired directly to your phone. You're right. But that jumpers are not a replacement for a WIM. They're just to jump and make it think it has a WIM. Thus, you can activate Android Auto or CarPlay, and then you can listen out of your speakers, but you're unable to listen out of a headset unless you have the WIM. That's
to clean that up a little bit, maybe for people that don't know what we're talking about.
Thank
you. You can plug your phone into your GTS, and it won't automatically turn on CarPlay. You have to have a headset.
You have to turn your headset on.
Yeah, even if you have a WIM, you have to turn your headset on because you were like, man, it's going on, it's going off. And we figured out that you have to have a WIM and you have to have your headset on, and then Apple CarPlay will work. What this does is allow you to plug in your phone and activate parts of Apple CarPlay, meaning it'll project onto your screen. But without the headset, you can't talk to Siri and do all that kind of stuff and navigate around. So if you're wearing a half helmet or even a full face helmet and you're just using the speakers on your bike, I could see that it may have some value because you can plug in and you can toggle through and see everything. So we're going to play with that on Popeye's bike when it's here, and we'll send it with him too. You can have it.
Nice. Now this is a live video broadcast and chat for patron members only, which is the majority of what we do, these for patron members only. Now, we would love to have you as a patron member. We want to get to know you better. We want you in the private Facebook group. We want you in this live chat. But hey, if the only way you want to support us is through a flat donation, we never balk at a flat donation. We want to thank the following people. That's Carl Stout, Darrence Lovejoy of Charlotte, North Carolina, and Howard Stinson of Salida, California. Substantial donation, lawabidingbikers.com/donate. And of course, we love our sponsors, but these folks are also a direct result of why these episodes are coming to you after 9 years.
We got Charles Huber of North Olmsted, Ohio, Robert Walters of Coast City, North Carolina, and Greg Root of Kalska. Did I say that right? Kalkaska, Michigan. That's a mouthful.
We have Mitch Peters of Simi Valley, California. We have Brian Lunsford of Channelview, Texas, and he's top tier, and Thomas McNulty. Finishing
it out with Michael Stinnett of Huntington Beach, California. Ooh, love Huntington Beach. Corey Saliers of Lancaster, Ohio, and David Gillespie of Lake Havasu City, Arizona. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon. That's right, Patreon. Pledge a certain amount, purpose content. No risk to you because you can put a monthly cap. There are benefits such as t-shirts and stickers. You get into the private Facebook group, which is a troll-free zone. Nothing but bikers helping bikers. Access to live video broadcasts and chat like this podcast early. Premium videos up on request. And, of course, access to those ride meetup and events. And a lot of those rides going on in that private Facebook group are unsanctioned, and we say that lightheartedly as a joke. That means that it's not a official law-abiding biker event, but the members are getting together all over and getting together their own meetups, their own rides, and we just love that. So thank you, everybody that has stepped up to the plate to help support us. Going on 9 years, still coming at you full blast with the content. Big Daddy, we got anything else, or Lurch, as far as the store goes that you want to mention? Feel free.
No, just that we appreciate you guys' support. I truly mean it when I end an email and I say thank you for supporting small business. A lot of people who just find us, they just assume that we're some big company like, Revzilla or J&P Cycle or Motorsports, et cetera. And really we're
bootstrap company.
We're 4 guys that are running this store and processing 30 to 50 orders a day and working full-time jobs and making this work. And somehow we're still able to get all these orders out darn near every day on time. And so, we're never going to satisfy the guy that's like, well, I found this on Amazon. It was $4 cheaper and I got free shipping, so I didn't buy from you. We're not going to satisfy that person. But you also, when you have problems with those things, or you're getting it from big corporate, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. So just know we are truly one of the small guys still, and will always be the small guy. And so when you're buying from us, you're buying for people that are putting their heart and soul in it, and we appreciate your guys' business.
Absolutely. Well said. Yep. Buying from actual bikers that live, eat, and breathe the lifestyle. And on top of it, we're putting out videos. A lot of our products have install videos for free. And we're getting the information out there to you guys via videos and podcasts. We're doing a lot more than just the store. We're an entire media company doing documentary films and everything in between. So we do appreciate it. And shopping in the store, along with being patron members and all that kind of stuff, is the reason that we are still here and going strong after 9 freaking years. Big Daddy, you got to take another dump by chance so you can try the non-mint, the fragrance-free dude wipes.
You'll be left just feeling like something's missing.
You'll be left wanting.
Yeah, there you go.
I tell you what, I'll take a wipe to go in 2 days. I'll let you know how it is.
Please do. Oh, he's got a to-go one. It's discreet, like a tampon.
Take this little single to go with you. It's a mint chill, so you can.
Big Daddy, by the way, guys, everybody, he can put that in his Merce. He is carrying a Merce these days. It's a crossbody Merce, and it's pretty stylish, pretty sexy.
I don't know what that is.
It's a man purse. It's a Merce. No? All right. Can you say Gromit for me one more time?
It's a Gromit.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's awesome. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are awesome. Obviously we love our patron members, having them here in the chat, live video broadcast and chat, but we love our entire audience, and everybody supports us, in different ways. But we love the intimacy of being involved and directly talking to our beloved patron members. So thank you very much. There you go. Bug Slide, guys. Don't ride without the slide. Absolutely the best waterless motorcycle cleaner on the market. Bug Slide, tried and tested right here by the Law Abiding Biker crew. It absolutely is our number one go-to waterless motorcycle cleaner. Clean, shines, and degreases while removing bugs and other surface contaminants with ease. Use it on your motorcycle, car, boat, and more. I use the heck out of it on my boat. I just cleaned my entire bay liner with it. Love that stuff. Never need to wax again. The release agent in Bug Slide contains a UV filter for added protection. It's free of abrasives and is safe on all non-porous surfaces. Use it on your helmet and face shield also. Yes, it even works on that Hardy denim paint.
Say what?
Yeah, buddy. We believe in it so much we carry it, stock it right in the Law Abiding Biker store. lawabidingbiker.com/store. All right, last thing I'm going to say, guys. You may have seen it on the YouTube channel. We're motorcycle centric, obviously. That's mostly what we do here on the channel, 99.9%. But Lurch and I got involved in a side project, and we actually, I have a 2000 Bayliner runabout that I take the family out in. You may see it on Instagram. I put it on some of my Instagram posts. But anyways, we changed out the seawater impeller in the Mercruiser Alpha 1 Gen 2 outdrive. And I actually filmed it because I found nothing like usual but crap on YouTube and people missing steps. And we did it in true law-abiding biker fashion. And I'm like, I'm going to record this and we're going to make a nice video out of this. And I actually popped it out on the YouTube channel. So if you have a boat with a outdrive, a lot of boats use the Mercruiser outdrives, the Alphas, and it's on there, how to change your seawater impeller. So it was a different project for us. We're both getting old.
A little sore the next day.
We were a little sore the next day.
The boat's on the trailer and we're down on the ground trying to line up that bottom half of that outdrive, get the shaft and everything lined up, and it's not light. No. We both broke our ass and realized our age. lawabidingbiker.com/fresh-butt. Thank you, everybody, for being here live and being in the chat. We appreciate it so very much. And we are out of here.